the 11th standard zoology class, unit 2, chapter 4, frog. So this class we are going to learn about the morphology of the frog. Morphology means what? External characters. Logy means what? Study. Morpho means what? External. The study about the external characters is known as what? Morphology. So this class we are going to learn about the morphology of the frog. So before we learn about the morphology of the frog, let us learn about the classification of the frog. So it belongs to the phylum Chordata, class Amphibia. Amphi means what? Double. So it can live in the land as well as on the water. So amphi means what? Double mode of life. Phylum Chordata, class Amphibia, then order Anura. Order Anura. So Anura is the largest order. Anura is the largest order, and Anura means what? Tailless amphibians. Anura means what? Tailless amphibians. Example, frogs and the toad. So it includes all the tailless amphibians belongs to the order Anura. Then a genus Rana. Then Hexadactyla is a species. Hexa means what? 6. Dactyla means what? Digits. So it includes 6 digits. It includes 6 digits. Now we say the classification of the frog. Phylum Chordata, class Amphibia, order Anura, genus Rana, and species Hexadactyla. Anura means what? Tailless amphibians. Then first we see the frog. So these frogs were the first land vertebrates. Frogs were the first land vertebrates. Then body of the frog is a streamline. It helps in swimming. Then it belongs to the order Anura. Anura is the largest order. It includes more than 3,900 species. Then Amphibia, it can live in land as well as in the water. Then it is a poikilothermic. It is a poikilothermic. Poikilothermic, it is otherwise known as what? Cold-blooded animals. It is otherwise known as what? Cold-blooded animals. So what is a poikilotherms? Organism can change its body temperature according to the external environment. Say the term. Organism can change its body temperature according to the external environment. It is known as what? Poikilotherms or the cold-blooded animals. That is, the organism's body temperature varies with the varying environment. The organism's body temperature varies with the varying environment. That is known as what? Poikilotherms or the cold-blooded. Now let us learn about the morphology. See here, the body of the frog is a streamline. It helps in the swimming, and then it is a dorso-ventrally flattened. Then the body is divided into head and the trunk. Then here, see the head. The head is a triangular. The head is a triangular in nature, and it has an apex. And it has an apex. It forms a snout. And it has an apex. It forms a snout. Then this head, it bears nostrils. It bears nostrils, and then behind the nostrils, then a mouth is present. The mouth is it can open widely. Mouth is large and it can open widely. Then behind the nostril, eyes are present. These eyes are very large and it is protected by the upper eyelid. See the picture, it is protected by the upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. Upper eyelid and the lower eyelid. So this upper eyelid is a thick immovable. Upper eyelid is a thick immovable, and lower eyelid is a thin movable. Lower eyelid is a thin movable. When the animal is under water, when the animal is in the water, these eyes are protected by the third membrane. Eyes are protected by the third membrane. That is known as what? Nictitating membrane. That is known as what? Nictitating membrane. When the animal is under water, it is protected by the third membrane. That is known as what? Nictitating membrane. Then behind the eyes, a pair of tympanic membrane is present. This tympanic membrane, it forms a eardrum. Tympanic membrane, it forms a eardrum, and there is no external ears are present. So what are the parts in the mouth? Sorry, what are the parts in the head? The head is a triangular, and it forms and it consists of external nostrils, a pair of eyes, then a tympanic membrane. Then a trunk bears a forelimbs and the hind limbs. Trunk bears a forelimbs and the hind limbs. Let us see about the sexual dimorphism. What is meant by sexual dimorphism? When you are able to see the differences between the male and the female, when you are able to identify the differences between the male and the female, that is known as what? Sexual dimorphism. So here also the frog is a sexual dimorphism. You can able to differentiate the male and the female frog. So in the male frog, you can see the vocal sac and the nuptial pad. It's a 2-mark question. Differentiate between the male frog and the female frog. So in the male frog, you can see the vocal sac and the nuptial pad. Vocal sac and the nuptial pad. So this vocal sac, it helps to amplify the croaking sound of the frog. It helps to amplify the croaking sound of the frog. Then at this nuptial pad, you can see it in the forelimbs. You can see it in the forelimbs. That is in the first digit of the forelimb. That is the first digit of the forelimb. There is a swelling. The first digit of the forelimb. There is a swelling. This swelling is known as what? Nuptial pad. It helps to hold the female. It helps to hold the female during the copulation. So what is the difference between the male frog and the female frog? In the male frog, you can see the vocal sac and the nuptial pad. In the female, this vocal sac and the nuptial pad are absent. When the animal is at rest, these hind limbs are folded in the form of an alphabet letter Z. Okay, so is the morphology of frog is clear. So what is the first point? What is the morphology? The study about the external character is known as what? Morphology. The body of the frog is the skin is smooth, slimy, and is loosely attached to the body wall. The body is divided into head and the trunk. The head consists of, the head is triangular and it has an apex. It forms a snout. Its snout consists of external nostril, pair of eyes, tympanum. Okay. Then the trunk consists of forelimbs and the hind limbs. The forelimbs, it consists of 4 digits. It is separated into upper arm, forearm and the hand. Then hind limbs consists of, it is large and long. It consists of thigh, shank and the foot. So it has a 5 digit. It is webbed. It helps to swim in the water and there is a small spot. This small spot is called as a 6th toe. Between the hind limbs, there is a small opening is known as what? Cloacal aperture. It is a common opening for digestive system as well as for the reproductive system. When the animal is at rest, these hind limbs are kept folded in the form of the alphabet Z. Then what is the difference between the male frog and the female frog? In the male frog, you can see the vocal sac. What is the function of the vocal sac? It helps to amplify the croaking sound of the frog. Then nuptial pad, that is in the forelimb. The first digit of the forelimb. There is a swelling. This swelling is known as what? Nuptial pad. It helps to hold the female. Now we learn about the digestive system. So the digestive system consists of mouth. Then mouth leads into the buccal cavity. Then buccal cavity leads into the pharynx. Then pharynx leads into the esophagus. Then esophagus into the stomach. Then stomach into the duodenum. Then ileum. Then rectum and cloaca. So, what are the alimentary gland consists of what? First, the mouth. The mouth leads into the buccal cavity. The buccal cavity leads into the pharynx. The pharynx leads into the esophagus. Then esophagus leads into the stomach. Then the stomach leads into the duodenum, ileum, rectum and cloaca. So here, in the digestive system of the frog, is a row of small pointers. See the diagram, a row of small pointer maxillary teeth is present. Yes, row of small pointer maxillary teeth is present on the upper jaw, and then a vomerine teeth is present on the internal nostrils. A vomerine teeth is present on the internal nostrils. So you can get the 1-mark question where the vomerine teeth are present. So where it is present, a group of 1 on each side of the internal nostrils, vomerine teeth are present. Then where the maxillary teeth are present, the maxillary teeth are present on the upper jaw. So in the lower jaw, there is no teeth. There is no teeth in the lower jaw. Then here there is a muscular sticky bifid tongue is present. So here the muscular tongue is attached in front and then it is a free beaded. So the edge is a forked one. The edge is a forked one. So it is a sticky tongue is present. When the frog sights an insect, it flicks out its muscular tongue. It flicks out its muscular tongue, and the insect or the prey gets attached to the sticky tongue. When the frog sights an insect, it flicks out its muscular tongue. It flicks out its forked bifid muscular tongue, and then the frog insect is get attached into the muscular tongue. So here, first the alimentary consists of what? Mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, ileum, rectum, and then the cloaca. So here the food first enters into the mouth and then into the pharynx and then into the esophagus and then into the stomach. So here the digestion takes place in the stomach. So here the food is partially digested. That part it is known as what? Kind. The partially digested food, that is known as what? Kind. And then in the duodenum, it receives the bile juice as well as the pancreatic juice. So the bile juice is secreted from the liver. The liver secretes the bile juice and it is stored in the gallbladder. The pancreas secretes a pancreatic juice. And then through the pancreatic duct it opens into the duodenum. So the duodenum receives the bile juice as well as the pancreatic juice. So this bile juice it helps to digest the fat. And then this pancreatic juice it helps to digest the proteins, carbohydrates and lipids. The bile juice it helps to digest the fat, and then the pancreatic juice it helps to digest the carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. The liver secretes the bile juice. The pancreas secretes the pancreatic juice. Where the bile juice is stored? The bile juice is stored in the gallbladder. So the semi-digested food, that is known as what? Kind. And then from the duodenum, the digested and semi-digested food, that is known as what? Kind, is passed on into the ileum, that is the intestine. So in the intestine, there is a finger-like projections. So these finger-like projections are known as what? Villi. These finger-like projections are known as what? Villi. It helps to absorb the digested food. And then the undigested food pass out through the rectum and then into the cloaca. It's very simple, no? It's very easy also. See the diagram and say the answer. So what is our first one? Maxillary teeth. Where the maxillary teeth is present? The maxillary teeth is present on the upper jaw, and then there is no teeth on the lower jaw. Overlying teeth is present on the nostrils. Okay. Then the tongue is free at the floor of the buccal cavity. There is a tongue is present, and then it is attached to the free, and then it is attached in front and it is free begun. So the free end is bifid. That is it divided into fork. That is it like this. It is divided into bifid or the fork, and then it is sticky in nature. The muscular tongue is sticky in nature. When the frog sights an insect, it flicks out its muscular tongue and the prey or the insect gets attached to the muscular tongue. So here the food is passed on to the mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus and then in the stomach. So here the digestion takes place in the stomach. The semi-digested food, that is known as what? Kind. And then the duodenum receives the bile juice as well as the pancreatic juice. The liver secretes the bile juice and it is stored in the gallbladder. The pancreas secretes the pancreatic juice and then it opens into the duodenum. What is the function of the bile juice? It helps to digest the fat. What is the function of the pancreatic juice? It helps to digest the carbohydrates, proteins and lipids. So here in the intestine, in the ileum, there is a small finger-like projections. It is known as what? Villi. So this villi helps to absorb the digested food. Then undigested food pass out through the rectum and then into the cloaca. In the frog, there are three types of respiration takes place. One is a cutaneous respiration, buccal respiration and pulmonary respiration. What are the three types of respiration in frog? First one is a cutaneous respiration, then a second one is a buccal respiration and third one is a pulmonary respiration. What is the third one? Pulmonary respiration. So cutaneous means what? Skin. Cutaneous means what? Skin. So when the animal is under water, a dissolved oxygen in water get exchanged through the skin by diffusion. Get exchanged into the skin by diffusion because the skin of the frog is moist, smoothie and moist in nature. The skin of frog is soft, smooth and moist in nature. The dissolved oxygen in water enters into the skin by the diffusion. If the respiration takes place through the skin, that is known as what? Cutaneous respiration. Then buccal respiration. When the nostrils are open, the mouth is permanently closed. So the floor of the buccal cavity is alternately raised and lowered. So air is drawn into and expelled out of buccal cavity through the open nostrils. When the nostrils are open, so the buccal cavity is closed. When the nostrils are open, the buccal cavity or the mouth is closed. So here the floor of the buccal cavity is alternately raised and lowered. So air is drawn into and expelled out of buccal cavity through the open nostrils. Then our next one, if the respiration takes place through the lungs, then it is known as what? Pulmonary respiration. A pair of the soft, elongated, pink colored lungs are present in the thorax. So exchange of gases takes place, that is through the air is drawn into the pharynx and then into the lungs. So here, what is a cutaneous respiration? If the respiration takes place through the skin, that is known as what? Cutaneous respiration. If the respiration takes place through the buccal cavity, that is known as what? Buccal respiration. If the respiration takes place through the lungs, then it is known as what? Pulmonary respiration. So in the pulmonary respiration, air enters into the nostrils and then into the buccal cavity and then into the lungs. Then aestivation. Aestivation means what? Summer sleep. Then hibernation means what? Winter sleep. So what is aestivation means what? Summer sleep. Then hibernation means what? Winter sleep. So when the frog takes the rest, during summer, that is known as what? Aestivation. When frog takes rest during winter, that is known as what? Hibernation. So aestivation means what? Summer sleep. Hibernation means what? Winter sleep. So during the aestivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange takes place through the skin. Now we discuss about the circulatory system of the frog. So in the fishes, heart is a 2-chambered. In the frog, it is a 3-chambered, and then in the apes and mammals, it is a 4-chambered. That is, the heart is covered by the double-walled membrane, that is known as what? Pericardium. The covering of the heart, that is known as what? Pericardium. Then heart is divided into how many chambers? 3 chambers. So what are they? The upper 2 chambers. The upper 2 chambers are known as what? Auricles. And the lower 2 chambers are known as what? Ventricles. That is, the upper 2 chambers are known as what? Auricles. That is divided into right auricle and left auricle. And single ventricle is present. So the heart is a 3-chamber. The upper 2 chambers are known as what? Auricles. and the single ventricle, and the lower chamber it is known as what? Ventricle. So it is a 3 chamber. The covering of the heart is known as what? Pericardium. The covering of the heart is known as what? Pericardium. So then here on the dorsal surface of the heart, there is a sinus venosus. Where it is present? It is present on the dorsal surface of the heart. So it is a thin wall and then it is a triangular chamber. The sinus venosus is a thin wall and triangular chamber. Where it is present? It is present on the dorsal surface of the heart. So here, this sinus venosus, it always receives a deoxygenated blood. Then truncus arteriosus. This truncus arteriosus, it is present on the ventral surface of the heart. The truncus arteriosus is present on the ventral surface of the heart. It is a large, thick wall and cylindrical in structure. The sinus venosus is thin wall and triangular in structure. This truncus arteriosus is thick wall and cylindrical in structure. This truncus arteriosus, it divides into right and left aortic trunk. It divides into what? Right and left aortic trunk. Then this left aortic trunk, the truncus arteriosus divides into what? Right and left aortic trunk. Then this aortic trunk is further divided into, the left aortic trunk is further divided into 3. The first one is an carotid. Second one is a systemic. And the third one is a pulmocutaneous. Listen. The sinus venosus is a triangular chamber where it is present on the dorsal surface of the heart. Then this truncus arteriosus is cylindrical structure, thick wall, present on the ventral surface of the heart. It arises from the ventricle. And divides into 2. So what are they? Right aortic trunk and the left aortic trunk. The truncus arteriosus, it divides into what? Divides into right and left aortic trunk. So this left aortic trunk is further divided into 3 branches. What are they? First one is a carotid, second one is a systemic, and third one is a pulmocutaneous. So this carotid, it supplies oxygenated blood to the anterior region of the body. Then this systemic trunk, one on each side of the posterior side, it joins to form as a dorsal aorta. It supplies blood to the posterior region of the body. Then this pulmocutaneous, it supplies blood to the pulmonary. Pulmonary means what? Lungs. It supplies blood to the lungs. Cutaneous means what? Skin. So it supplies blood to the lungs and skin. The truncus arteriosus, it divides into 2 branches. What are they? Right and left aortic trunk. This left aortic trunk is further divided into 3 branches. What are they? Carotid, systemic and pulmocutaneous. So carotid, it supplies blood to the anterior region of the body. Then this systemic trunk, one on each side posteriorly, joins to form as a dorsal aorta. This dorsal aorta supplies deoxygenated blood to the posterior region of the body. Then this pulmocutaneous, it supplies blood to the lungs as well as to the skin. Then this sinus venosus, it receives a deoxygenated blood from the 2 precable, that is from the upper side, that is from the 2 precable, that is from the anterior region, and 1 postcable vein, that is from the posterior region. The sinus venosus, it receives deoxygenated blood from the anterior region of the body through the 2 precable veins and from the posterior region of the body through the 1 postcable vein and delivers this deoxygenated blood into the right auricle. The sinus venosus delivers the deoxygenated blood into the right auricle. At the same time, the left auricle receives the oxygenated blood through the pulmonary vein. The left auricle receives the oxygenated blood through the pulmonary vein. Is it clear? So what is the first one? The covering of the heart, it is known as what? Pericardium. The heart is divided into how many chambers? 3 chambers. The upper 2 chambers are known as what? Auricles. And the lower chamber, it is known as what? Ventricles. Ventricle. On the dorsal surface of the heart, there is a triangular chamber, it is known as what? Sinus venosus. It receives the deoxygenated blood. This truncus arteriosus, it is a cylindrical structure, thick wall present on the ventral surface of the heart. It arises from the ventricle and divides into right and the left aortic trunk. This left aortic trunk is further divided into carotid, systemic and pulmocutaneous. So the carotid supplies blood to the anterior region of the body. The systemic, one on each side of the posterior side, it joins to form as a dorsal aorta, supplies blood to the posterior region of the body. Then a pulmocutaneous supplies blood to the lungs as well as to the skin. Then this sinus venosus receives a deoxygenated blood from the 2 precaval veins, that is from the anterior region of the body, and 1 postcaval vein from the posterior region of the body, and delivers the deoxygenated blood into the right auricle. At the same time, when the right auricle is filled with the deoxygenated blood, at the same time the left auricle is filled with the oxygenated blood through the pulmonary vein. And here the blood consists of the plasma as well as the blood cells. Then here the blood cells RBC, WBC and platelets. In the RBC, it is nucleated. The RBC of the frog is nucleated and then it is oval in shape. The WBC is also nucleated. Then what is the main function of the RBC? It has a respiratory pigment. It supplies oxygenated blood to the cells. It carries a respiratory pigment. It supplies the oxygenated blood. And here, as it is nucleated, the nucleus occupies the most of the space. So here, it has in the frog, there are other modes of respiration. What are other modes of respiration? Cutaneous respiration, buccal respiration and pulmonary respiration.